everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just Like You. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and today I'm here with Ray, who is my friend, my old lash technician when I lived in London, and she is a badass female entrepreneur who is on the podcast today because she has started her own business and it is super successful. And basically, we want to talk today a lot about how she had to work through self-worth and a lot of other mental blocks and just mental health things, toxic relationships, like all the things, the whole journey to be able to get to where she is today, where she actually is running a super successful business, living the life that she loves, the life she's always dreamed of. And I think that you guys could learn a lot from her. So hi, Ray.
Hi, Alexis.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me on here. I'm so excited.
Of course. Before we get into all of the work that you've had to do, like with your growth and self-worth issues and kind of that healing journey, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about like who you are, where you came from, like your background, where you grew up, all of that sort of thing, so they can get an idea of like who you are, who's talking?
Yeah, so I'm a London girl. I mean, not born, but I'd say bred, because I arrived when I was 6 months old from Bangladesh with my mother, who didn't speak a word of English. But yeah, I'd say like London's home. And I did go to university and decided that law was not for me, even though I enjoyed it, I loved it, but I wanted to follow my dreams, which was start my own business, a small, medium-sized business, and follow my passion for lashes. And now I just kind of do what I love, creating my craft, and meeting amazing women and chatting while I basically, well, can I call it work? Because I mean, yeah, work's work, but I guess it's my hobby and my passion.
Okay, so. Wait, you just said that you meet so many wonderful women. Do you ever lash guys? Like, do they ever come in here needing lashes for drag or like any of that shit?
Never someone who's claimed they're a male. But like one person who had like a transition.
Okay.
They were really, really nice. They had an amazing story as well. It's just amazing. I can imagine it. Yeah, and I just speak to so many people and like listen to their story, and it's so inspiring. And like, yeah, it's just,
I love that.
I'm so curious.
I feel like every time I came in here was like a life update, a therapy session, like gossiping. Like it was just like every time. It's like a whole new world of updates.
And nap, a therapy session, and lashes all in one, pretty much.
Yeah, it was amazing. Sometimes I'll take a little nap.
But it's so cool. It's like a two-way therapy session. But that's kind of how I like view your shows as well. Like, you know, like you kind of speak about yourself, and your guests kind of speak about their story too. So
yeah, it's like just one big therapy session for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that you were living here with your parents. Your mom spoke not a word of English, and you moved here when you were like 6 months old. So how was that growing up in London? I would say like London has a very definitive like Londoner culture. So how is it growing up here, like being immersed in that, but then also having to deal with the fact that your parents are like very, I don't want to say old school because it's not old school. It's just different culture, different beliefs.
Yeah. It was tough. Let's say that. But yeah, both of my parents grew up in a village. So they had no idea about a metropolitan life or cosmopolitan life, if you like, which is completely different to me and my upbringing. So yeah, complete different worlds. I mean, my dad grew up here and my mum grew up in the village, but yeah, so already there was like a massive, different worlds being introduced. And I just remember being like very confused as a child, you know, like the things my mum taught me were very different to what I was taught by my peers or in school. So yeah, I never quite fit in with my immediate community that I was surrounded by, which were South Asian girls from kind of like the same background as me, who also had parents who grew up in a village, who often didn't speak English either. And their kind of ideals and beliefs, for some reason, didn't align with my core beliefs.
Were all these girls kind of sticking to like what their parents' beliefs were, or were they kind of like merging into London beliefs?
See, I think everyone was on a different level, but generally there was the community aspect where they kind of followed their parents' roots, and if you were to stray, you were seen as an outcast, and kind of like frowned upon. But I guess it's human behavior to kind of conform to your groups and
Societal conditioning.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was quite inspired by, and I could relate to Robert Greene's book, The Laws of Human Nature. And he talks about group bias and confirmation bias. And one of the laws of human nature is to follow who you're around. And I guess unless you're kind of self-aware, you don't really criticize, because you're kind of scared of the judgment. And I think that kind of led me to my identity crisis and wondering who I was.
It's interesting you say that, because I have actually heard of like the term or the saying, like you're a reflection of like the 3 closest people you have around you. And the way that you just said, it's like he talks about how you form to the people that you're with. It's so interesting. I never like connected that to his teachings. Well, I mean, I haven't read his book, but
yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's so true. Like the 5 people you hang out with, you're the 6th person that they are, pretty much, without even knowing it. It's all very very subconscious, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just pick up on things.
Well, even I've noticed, like when it's gonna sound so silly, but like when I talk to British people, or like I'm in England, I use so much more British terminology, British slang. Like even the way that I say words, sometimes people were like, did you say that with an accent? Like it kind of just comes out, because I'm like molding to what's around me. And then when I'm at home, like I speak very Toronto, very Canadian, and like when a little twang of British does come out, people are like, you know, like they're like, what the heck was that? And like even talking about, like if I'm talking about a house back home, I'll be like, oh, like the apartment. And if I'm talking about it here, I'll be like, oh, the flat. Like even though it's the exact same thing, they like the words change based on where I'm talking about. So like
we were talking about the pants thing.
Oh yeah, well. The pants. So here, like we like in North America, like we call just like leggings, sweatpants, whatever, like pants. Like I'm putting on pants. And then in England, underwear is pants. So I was like, oh, like I won't get your pants in it. And then I was like, wait, I won't get your trousers in it. Quick flip.
Yeah, it's interesting because like a few people that I've spoken to who have traveled a lot from a young age usually say they kind of pick up not even like the words, but like behaviors and mannerisms, and it's completely different. And I guess you can kind of get quite complacent, and I think that's what happens with people, right? They get complacent with their immediate surroundings, and they kind of attach themselves and their identity to that.
Definitely. So with the identity crisis that you were feeling, how did that show up for you, like in your life? Like how did it affect you?
I guess kind of like falling out with certain groups, or not being able to be my authentic self around certain people. And I guess it's interesting when we talk about like the mannerisms and different areas, like when you come to London, when you go to Canada, and I guess I kind of like, it's interesting to think about mental illness, because one of the definitions of mental illness is two parts. So mental illness is being socially deviant, which is the first part, to the extent that it affects your daily activities, or being dysfunctional in your daily activities. But if we look at the first part, being socially deviant, what does that mean? It's very subjective, right? In Canada, what's being socially deviant is different to what socially deviant is in London. And I think that's where it kind of stemmed from for me. You know, the immediate South Asian community perceived me as being mentally ill, for example, as I wasn't conforming to their ideals and their beliefs. And I also didn't quite fit into the British culture. I mean, because I'm not British, and it's not what my mum taught me, you know, like the foods that we eat. And I didn't quite fit in there, so I kind of felt socially deviant in both communities, or both kind of aspects. So kind of trying to figure out where I belong and where's home, and affected my self-worth.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because this is just something that popped into my head as you were saying it. Even as like a society, like as a whole, for the most part of like the Western world, we view people who are super spiritual and like really tapped into their abilities and their intuition and their gifts, or like, you know, believe in the energies and the frequencies and all that stuff. We view them as like mentally ill or psychotic. We put them in psych ward, like all these things, because it's different to what we believe is true. Like they're being socially deviant, when actually, like, I mean, I'm on the woo-woo side, so fine, but like that shit is real, you know? Like, and we all view them as being these fucking weirdos until we grow up and realize, hey, wait, we're the weirdo.
Exactly. No, it's so true. And I think people who kind of speak out and are aware are always criticized and always outcasted, because they're not fitting into the social ideals. Yeah. Because we've unlearn the social conditioning. Yeah. And I guess, I don't know if there's like one body who kind of wants to keep this social structure, keep this social ideal, who like wants to keep that agenda. But you're so right. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I like, as soon as you said that, I was like, wait a second. It is really interesting, but you're right, and it does really start to affect our self-worth, because when everyone else is criticizing us and constantly putting us down or telling us what we believe, our opinions, our thoughts, our actions, whatever, aren't right, or we aren't deserving of certain things because we believe or act a certain way, it makes us feel like shit and like we're worth nothing. And that's what you said that you experienced, right?
Yeah, and I guess like being self-aware and being, you know, spiritual and working on yourself and being critical about your immediate surrounding can come across as being socially deviant. And as you say, that's the only way you can kind of grow, right? To criticize, or not even criticize, but analyze what's around you.
Just
question, exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, if you don't question your beliefs, do you actually really believe in what you believe?
Or are you just conforming?
And I think the reason why other people get offended by you being you and your authentic self is because it attacks their identity. And I think a lot of the self-worth things came from me having to dim my light or dim my shine so that other people could feel comfortable in their identities.
That happens a lot. So when it, especially like as a manifestor in human design, I naturally trigger people. And a lot of times when people are triggered by you, it's because they're seeing something in you that they either reject within themselves or they're not ready to like embrace within themselves. So even if it's just you being confident in being you, even if your version of confident is different to what theirs would be, they don't feel okay to be confident in themselves. So seeing someone else act that way is triggering to them.
Well, I've got a confession to make.
Oh my God, what?
When I first met you, I found you quite intimidating.
Really?
Yeah. But then
God.
only like, then it switched and it was like this calming, like healing energy. But like, yeah, like your confidence is oozing. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my God, I would never have guessed that. Intimidating.
Yeah, it's not even intimidating. I think that's the wrong word, but kind of like aspiring. And I think a lot of people don't know how to do that switch, right? To kind of like find something inspirational and kind of see how you could kind of use that energy in for yourself, instead reject it and kind of fear it.
So interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you for the compliment. So obviously now you're like some fucking badass entrepreneur woman. Like you've worked through all the self-worth shit and all of that. So what was the journey of like stemming from the low self-worth? I know there was a relationship involved there at some point too. Getting to where you are now and being able to work through all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy now. Like I just live the life that I've envisioned. It's insane. And I think,
love that for you.
Yeah. And I think like you kind of, this is one of your quotes, like you can create your own damn reality. And I never thought, well, I did think that I'd be here today, and I am. And manifestation is so real. But I wasn't there yet at the time because I didn't really believe in myself. And yeah, I guess how I got to where I am now, there were different versions of myself who I now don't recognize anymore and who I now grieve. But I guess the catalyst was a relationship of mine, a very long-term relationship, 7 years, and I was a very young, impressionable, naive girl at the time.
That's when it happens.
That's when it happens. And before you have your kind of like spiritual awakening, right? Before you have like your enlightenment, you're an easy target to these predators.
Especially when you have the low self-worth, because then you have this belief of that you don't deserve any better.
And you're on that low vibration, which attracts other low vibrations, right? And I guess it stemmed from the whole not knowing my identity and who I am, which then equated to my self-worth, which led me to being in this toxic relationship. And I guess because I didn't know where home was, and I think people think that home is external. Home is your parents' house. Home is your new flat in, I don't know, Ibiza or whatever. But home is actually in here. Home is you. And it took me until now to realize that. And I think because I didn't know where home was, I thought that my ex was my home and my comfort. And I think that's such a volatile situation. Not that he's a bad person, but I was very lost and I was searching for something to fill that void. And I think a lot of people suffer from that imposter syndrome, right? Where they know that they're meant for something else, or they know that they're destined to be something or be something great, but they haven't built that self-worth up yet. So they kind of put themselves, I don't know if you also agree, in those situations, in those toxic situations, to avoid confronting your real self.
Yes. So this is something I've actually talked about a lot. And just one thing I want to say before it leaves my brain is when you said that home's in here, it reminded me of a quote I posted on a reel, like I want to say 3 weeks ago. It says, "You're always home, remembering that you belong to yourself first." And I just like, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God, yes, this is it.
That literally sent chills on my spine.
Yeah, I love it. But no, I agree with exactly what you're saying, because so this is something, if you guys don't know me from like way back when I started on social media, I was on a weight loss journey. I was a weight loss and fitness coach and, you know, all the things. And one thing that I always found was the people have this identity of I'm trying to lose weight. And so you have the subconscious block of like, this is who I am. And then there's the scaredness of, well, if I lose the weight and I'm no longer holding on to this identity, like, who am I? Then I have to refigure out who I am. Who is this person that has lost the weight? What are my interests? What are my hobbies? Like, how do I conduct myself? What are my, everything changes because when you're stuck to this identity of, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, it's like my hobbies are, oh, I'm watching my food. Oh, I'm going to the gym. These are the things I talk about. Maybe I'm a little shy in certain situations. And like, if I were in my dream body or whatever it was, like I would have to be confident and not be shy anymore because I don't have a reason to hide. And so it's obviously this is just like the weight loss lens, but it goes to everything. Like when you're in this relationship, even if it's not toxic, even if you've just been in a relationship for so many years, you become so codependent on that person to live your life that even if you're not happy, you find it's so hard to get out because you're like, well, what is my life without this person? Who am I without this person? And it's like you're just stuck in that codependent identity of like, well, this person makes me me. And so without them, who am I? And it's scary because you do have to like rebuild yourself essentially and figure out who the fuck you actually are.
Yeah. And it goes back to the whole, you can create your own reality, because you can either choose to be in a situation based on your circumstances, or you can choose to actually be in the reality that you want to be and you envision. But to some people, it's so scary. And I think we kind of put those mental blocks on purpose, because we tell ourselves, no, I'm in this situations, give ourselves excuses, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was in that relationship for 7 years.
Yeah, because he put you through a lot.
Yeah, and it's true, he put me through a lot, but I allowed that, and I won't blame him because I was in that victim mindset where I was blaming him, and he's not a bad person, and I think everyone has tendencies to be evil, and everyone has tendencies to be a moral or righteous person, and I guess, as you know, I allowed that behavior, and I kind of that was the perfect breeding ground for coercive or abusive behavior. And I guess with the identity crisis and not having value in myself, and not knowing who I was, I was kind of like an easy target, I guess.
And just so that you guys understand what she means by I allowed it, Don Miguel Ruiz in the 4 Agreements talks about how we only allow the level of abuse that we give ourselves. So I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where like you're in a toxic relationship or in a bad relationship with like an employer or like whatever it is, and they're fully taking advantage of you, they're treating you badly, and you just allow it. It's because on a subconscious level, it's matching your level of self-worth or the beliefs that you have about yourself, versus you meet someone and they like do something bad or something that just doesn't align with you, and right away you're able to cut them off. It's because that was below what you believe your level of self-worth is. And so not to now shift the blame onto people who are like being abused and, you know, whatever else, but you only allow the level of abuse that you give yourself, because anything more than that, your brain is like, no. And so that's what she meant by like, I quote unquote allowed it.
Do you feel like you've ever been in a situation like that?
I wouldn't, like, I've never, well, actually, that's a lie. I have definitely been in a very toxic relationship. I don't know why that flew out of my brain. I was like, I haven't, but no, I have. Yeah, no, there was one relationship where he got another girl pregnant, and my level of self-worth was so low that I was like, what can we do to make this work? Like, leaving wasn't even a thought in my brain.
I remember us talking about that before.
Which, come on, like, there's no way in hell now that would ever fly. But I was overweight. I wasn't confident in myself. And like, I don't know, like this was like the one guy, well, not the one guy, because I was still like, you know, but this was like the guy that I had been with for like a year, And it was like, I couldn't see my life without him. And again, I think that's like another issue. And this is kind of a side note, but like, I don't believe that you should ever be in a relationship with someone and be so dependent on them that you can't see your life without them. I think that you should be able to see your life without them, but choose to want them in it. Because if you're looking at someone and you're like, well, fuck, what am I going to do without them? Like, I can't live. Then you're now relying on them for your survival and your happiness when that should all come from within.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I can't believe you went through that, but it made you who you are today. But
yeah, I was young.
Yeah.
Basically, every relationship I've had essentially has been a reflection of my level of self-worth.
Exactly. So you had a toxic relationship with yourself, right? And where does that come from? And I think it comes from your inner child, right? And
it comes from inner child, it comes from shadow, it comes from a lot. Like, when you don't have self-acceptance or self-love towards yourself, a lot of times it's because there's things in society or there's people in your life or whatever that have put these beliefs in you that you're not good enough. Like, for example, I was overweight and I hated my body, and like, yes, I was emotionally eating and I wasn't treating it well. Like, I wasn't eating great foods for me. I was eating all this processed shit. But the reason why I felt like not good looking or attractive being overweight is because people were telling me, like, magazines, online, whatever it is, like, skinny is pretty and that's it. And so that's where I grew the belief within myself of like, oh, I'm not pretty now, or I'm not good looking or whatever, like I need to cover up, etc., because I don't look like what I see in the movies or the magazines.
I remembered what I was going to say.
Okay.
I also, a lot of people don't have that, right? Because they already have that self-worth. But I think one of the reasons why you did deal with it for so long is because I think you're an overachiever, just like me.
Do you?
Yeah. And I think, strong women who, or even strong men as well, who constantly want to improve themselves, always look for flaws and criticize themselves. And I think we have a lot of negative talk to ourselves as an overachiever. But where does that come from? Does that come from like wanting to please our parents, wanting to please other people? And you kind of like base that self-worth onto your relationship, and you kind of don't realize but subconsciously equate that relationship to how you feel about yourself, because you think the more you give into it, as you do with a career or as you do with growing a plant or cooking or whatever it is, the more effort you put into it, the more it kind of grows. But I think we were channeling the wrong energy, and I guess the wrong frequency and vibration, and channeling negative energy, which grew a bigger negative situation. And I guess it came from like that people pleasing side. I don't know if you can relate with that.
I mean, I definitely think that I have people pleasing tendencies that are tied to my self-worth, because like I naturally am a nurturer. Like, one of my main love languages is acts of service, and like one of my favorite things is to like cook for people and like, like help them with things, and things where I don't feel like it's an obligation or they're expecting it of me. Like, I'm more than happy to help and be there. But I have noticed that in the relationships that were mirroring my low level of self-worth, I would people please in a way where like I wouldn't share my opinion or do things that I wanted to do or whatever it was, out of fear that they would disagree and like reject me and then leave, kind of thing. Like I wouldn't be good enough because I had like a differing opinion, or I didn't do enough for them, or like whatever the situation was. So I do relate to that, actually. So I'm assuming you have all this insight because you went and you did the work and like healed your self-worth. So what did that look like for you? What kind of things did you do in terms of like actually healing your self-worth? And then I have like a question for you after, so don't let me forget when you're done with this. Like, cause I want to remember. I don't want us to get sidetracked.
So I was quite similar to you, and I was kind of like competing with all these women, and my ex was a massive womanizer.
Great.
I was always like, what does she have that I don't? And yeah, it was on my 23rd birthday that we finally broke up, and I was like, no, time to put an end to this. Time to put an end to this toxic relationship with myself. And that's when I wanted to start that healing journey. Many years ago, previous to this, I had gone through a transitional period. And it was kind of linked with my previous relationship, where things were not going great, but I just wanted better for myself. And I kind of giving into the dopamine hits, and I was giving into impulsive behaviors, like eating fast foods and going out raving every freaking weekend or every day if I could. But I got to the point where I was like, I want to change my life, and I think it was when I cut out all the low vibrational things in my life, watching trash TV. And I kind of like introduced things that I loved and invested in myself. I kind of like invested in taking care of myself, doing my hair, doing my nails, or having a bath, or going to the spa or something. And people might think, oh yeah, like that's just all like, blasé. It's not true. But it is, the more you do things for yourself. You said your love language is acts of service. So do things for yourself. And it might seem like, oh yeah, I can look at myself and tell myself in the mirror, I love myself. But doing things for yourself is your mind and soul connecting to your body and subconsciously telling your body and yourself that you love yourself. And that's what I started doing. It failed because I kind of sidetracked and then like thought that my ex-boyfriend could feel that love for me and make me feel loved, and he was very persistent, which was hard. But then on my 23rd birthday, I think there was enough versions of myself and evolutions and versions of myself that had died, and I was very sad. I was very, very sad.
Can we just backtrack for a second? So all of the beginning stages of healing your self-worth, where you started doing things for yourself, that was before your 23rd birthday.
Before my 23rd
So you'd already broken
birthday.
up, but he like kept coming back. That's what you were referring to.
Yeah. And I think I was growing, and there were versions of myself which added to who I am now. But I was very sad and depressed because I was grieving, not per se him, but me. I was grieving me, the person who died. And I think on that 23rd birthday, I no longer recognized who I was because I'd become a different person. And that's when I started Eyelash Cure that many years ago. 6 years now.
Oh
but
my God.
Yeah, so I think it was like a year into the toxic relationship that I started Eyelash Cure, and I started channeling that energy into Eyelash Cure and a business for myself. But as I said, I still hadn't loved myself enough to nurture that, and I think that was like the channel for me to nurture myself. But what was the question you were going to ask?
Okay, I was going to ask you, which you kind of segued into this, which was great. But what was your aha moment of, okay, I am worthy of this business. I am worthy of succeeding, and I know that I can fucking do it. Because I think when we all start businesses, there's like that little bit of like, is this going to fail? Am I going to be okay? Whatever. And then something clicks and you're like, I can fucking do this. So what was your moment in that journey of just getting to the point in your self-worth where you knew like, fuck yeah, I can do this?
I think it goes back to the whole point of knowing my destiny. So deep down, I knew that I was destined to be and do something great, and do what I love. But I didn't know what it was exactly, but I knew it was something. So, and I think a lot of people say, I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what I want to do in life. But I personally don't think that you will know. It's about creating what you want to do in life. It's about creating your passion, creating the life that you want to live. And as I say, manifestation is freaking real. Create a vision board. And that's what I was doing. I was, as I say, like, I no longer wanted to live that life. I can't remember exactly what the breaking point was. I guess it was a lot got to do with family, upbringing and things like that. But I invested in myself and explored different parts of myself, which led me to realize that I love lashes and I love lashing. And I was like, this is what I love. This is what I want to nurture. This is what I want to grow. And I don't know if you've heard of ikage. It's a Japanese phrase. It's kind of like I don't know if I'm using the right term, Venn diagram.
Okay.
I'll show you after. But yeah, it kind of links your career, what you love doing in life, what you desire.
Oh my God, wait, I think I've seen it. And they like overlap, and it's like something you love doing, something you can make money from, and like some way you help others or whatever. And it's like the thing in the middle, it's like your purpose.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. I've seen it.
Yeah. So it was this whole like methodology. Like methodology, that's it.
I'm guessing too, I don't know.
Yeah, so I kind of like explored like different things and tried out different things, and then realized this is what I want to do. And at first it was freaking scary, and I was really worried that people were like, she's going to fail, she's going to like crash and burn. But and I did. I'll be honest, it wasn't a smooth sailing journey. It wasn't. I was terrible at lashing when I first started. But every single day I improve. And I think that's what it's about, kind of the fear of yourself and the limiting beliefs that you put on yourself and the negative talk.
Yeah. I also think when you're nervous about like people judging you and whatever else, I think that's also a projection for the judgment that you have on yourself. So when you're thinking like, oh, what will others say? It's like, well, actually, what about this am I not accepting within myself that I'm thinking others are going to judge? So like, especially when it comes to the spirituality stuff, like I'm like tapping into light language now, and I'm fine to do it with my friends who also can do light language. But then thinking about posting it is kind of like, well, are people going to judge me now if I'm like posting light language? Are they going to think I'm weird? But that's because there's part of me inside that I'm like, I'm still getting used to this. This is still a new thing for me. And like seeing it in other people, I'm like, that's so freaking cool. But then doing it within myself, I'm almost like, well, am I making this up? Or is this like a real thing that's happening? And if it's a real thing that's happening, like, you know, because the way society has made us think, like in my brain, I'm like, whoa, this is fucking wild. And so those judgments that I have on myself for like expressing the light language and tapping into it are what I'm assuming other people will judge when they see it.
And I think it's that light language kind of channeling into your real self and your authentic self.
It comes from your soul. Like it's your soul language, essentially.
And I think when we're like, as we said before, our authentic self, it's so bright that people who are not shining see that as too bright and intimidating. So again, we want to dim that light to make others shine. But you know, I guess you have that healing energy in the aspect that you want to like give that light out to let others.
Yeah. Well, so what I've learned actually on this journey, because that is it. Like there's been so many times in my life where I've like held back my personality or things I wanted to say because I was fearing that I was being too much, or like I didn't want to overshadow, or you know, any of the things. And what I've learned is that actually by you standing in your power and being your authentic self and being fully embodied, it gives other people the permission to do the same for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people don't want to, are not there yet, which is totally fine.
Yeah, no judgments. We're all on our own journey.
Exactly. But for those who want to, it will be so helpful for them, and I'm sure like very like healing for them. And
and something that I wanted to say when you were talking about purpose, but then we just kind of segued, so just jumping back for a second, I do want to emphasize that I right now in my coaching help people activate their soul purpose journey and figure out what their purpose is, why they're here, etc. And I just want to shed some light on, it's not one thing that you do that gives you your purpose. It's a way of being. So for example, my purpose is to help people reconnect to themselves, figure out who they are authentically, reconnect to their soul. And in everything I've done that has been not corporate related, that's what I've done. So whether it was helping people with their weight loss journey, it was always reconnecting them back to themselves and their why, and like, why do they want to lose the weight? What's important to them? Like, what does it mean to you to be this healthy person? Reconnecting them completely back to themselves. And then when it was the neural reprogramming and the shadow work and the manifestation, again, I'm like taking away all the societal conditioning, figuring out who you are as your authentic being so you can accept your shadows, heal all of the inner child programming, clear all of the limiting beliefs that were put on you, and be able to manifest your dream life because you don't have blocks. And now it's like, I'm doing spiritual coaching because this is just how my journey has evolved. But again, I'm like helping people wake the fuck up, realize who they are. Like, what starseed origin do you come from? Where is your soul from? What's your soul purpose? Like reactivating, and again, just in a different way, connecting people back to themselves. So it doesn't, like, you don't have to pick one thing. Like what I get from you, like with what you do with the lashes, is you're helping people feel like good about themselves again. You're helping them build their self-worth and their self-love because they're able to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, I like what I see. Like, that's what I get from you. Like, your purpose isn't to do lashes. It's deeper than that.
Yeah. And it's so amazing that you do have this healing energy. And I think that's where manifestation kind of rolls into, because people think I need to become this, or people think I need to be this, or they might not even know what they need to become. But the truth is, it starts now. And that's actually the secret to manifestation.
Yeah. That
you believe you are he, she, her, him now.
Yeah.
And kind of existing, and like you might want to be, a specific person, like living in the country that you want to live in, or earning the money that you want to earn. But if you start thinking on that mind of who you want to be, eventually you will be on that vibration, which will lead you to there. And I guess that's kind of what you teach, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I did do the manifestation coaching, I talked a lot about that. It's basically, if you're in the mindset of I want this and like I need to get to this, then you're going to be in the vibration of like scarcity. Getting that thing. Like, you're always going to be on the journey. You're never going to be there. But if you embody the vibration of I am this person, I already have this, but then at the same time showing gratitude for where you're at now instead of resenting it and feeling like you're lacking something, that's where the real magic happens.
Scarcity and abundance. Yeah.
Because then you're living as that person. You're not living as the person who's getting. It's the same thing with the losing weight. I am someone who is on a weight loss journey. Like, I am losing weight, or embodying the fact that like I am a person who's lost weight. Like, I am this person. I go to the gym. This is my life. Like, this is me. I have lost the weight.
I'm seeing the results.
Yeah.
I am me now. I choose from today to be this person.
Yeah. Yeah. All about vibration.
Yeah.
Receiving mode, Abraham Hicks. It's amazing. Is there anything else that you wanted to add today?
I mean, yeah, I just feel so aligned, and I feel so excited and so much more to give. And I guess, as you say, it's more than just lashing. It's kind of making someone feel good about themselves and making an impact. And I feel as though this journey is never ending. This journey of discovering who I am and think we discussed this previously about settling down.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even if you set like, and I think I'm quite afraid to settle down, and I think that's where I've got to in life. But it doesn't mean it's permanent, and we're always improving. But yeah, I just want to inspire as many people, women, as possible. And same goes to you, right?
Yeah. Just want to help as many people as I can on their journey.
Yeah.
I will say, like when I don't have lashes, I almost feel like I'm not human. Like now I just do the lift and tint because I'm traveling around so much that extensions just don't make sense.
They look great. I mean, your eyes are popping.
These are my natural lashes. But yeah, like when I got these back done, I was like, oh my God, I feel like a human again. Like there's just something about having lashes on my face that make me feel so good. And again, it goes back to the self-worth of like doing things for yourself. Because when I'm living in my tropical climates, like I don't do shit, to be honest. Like I do nothing to my face because makeup sweats off. I do nothing to my hair because it's so humid anyways. Like, and if I'm home all day, I'm just in gym clothes. And it comes to the point where like it's not something that's superficial in terms of like, oh, you need to be done up all the time. But when you actually take the time to like dress up cute or like have your lashes done or paint your nails, like it's really for yourself because it's just like, oh, like this is fun. Like I feel good like this, you know, like I'm giving myself like a little treat.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I felt whenever I got lashes. I was like, oh, yay.
I think it like a lot of people kind of carry shame and guilt, right? And it comes from a scarcity mindset. And I think I kind of tuned into one of your very first podcasts about your upbringing and your relationship with food, right?
Yeah.
And how like you were kind of taught to have everything on your plate and in that scarcity mindset. And I think we're kind of told to like not indulge in things that you like, and like that then transpires into you not investing in yourself. But I think there's a real beauty behind taking care of yourself, equating to your self-worth, which then leaves you to live the life of abundance and the life that you envisioned. And we should stop looking at it in terms of a negative way or a guiltful or shameful thing, and instead seeing it as an exchange of energies, and kind of taking that energy and being on that frequency and that vibration, that high vibration.
I love that. Okay, I have a few closing questions for you, but before we do that, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you and how they can come? I was going to say work with you, but I guess.
Yeah, I mean, really if you want to become a lash technician, hit me up on Instagram. It's Eyelash Cure Artistry. And if you are in London or in Shoreditch, pop by. You can message me on Eyelash Cure to book an appointment for some self-care and self-love.
And she is fucking great at lashes. Like she was my one lash lady in London that I actually went to consistently. So I will say you do a great job.
My absolute pleasure.
Okay. Closing questions. Who is someone that inspires you today?
Someone who inspires me today.
Today as in like this day and age, not necessarily this specific day.
Interesting question. My mom.
Oh, I love that. Why?
Yeah. My mom, she has a lot of healing to do. She does, but she's a very strong woman. She is. She's endured a lot. But yeah, she gave me a lot of harsh love growing up. But I wouldn't be the girl I am, the overachiever that I am, and wouldn't have gone through the toxic relationship and all the past versions of myself to then be who I am today. So my mom, yeah.
I love that. Even with the harsh love, and even like when we are in those toxic relationships and whatever else, the way that the people treat us is to their own level of like healing and understanding. And so they're always acting out of their own trauma. So I mean, I know that you said that he, like with your ex, he's like a great guy and you don't take anything personally. I think that's great, because it is like every time I was in a relationship where I was treated badly, I could see that where it was coming from, the traumas like that they had and how they were projecting it out. And even with my mom, like my mom and I haven't had the best relationship over the years, but as soon as I started doing my like inner child healing and my shadow work, I saw all of the shadows from like her life and my grandparents' life and saw how it was passed down into how I was raised.
And I think, and I think that's what's amazing about Reiki healing, right? That you let go of those resentments towards people, situations that made you feel a certain way, and kind of understanding, not justifying, but understanding their traumatic experiences.
Exactly. And viewing it with empathy rather than hatred and resentment. So,
exactly. Yeah. And there's a difference between empathy and sympathy, right? And compassion. And I think that's what makes you youthful. And like doing things like Reiki or do things like lashing or whatever you like, and investing in yourself makes you stay youthful. Because when you start to become bitter, and that's what happened to me, I was holding on to so much resentment. And when I did my healing journey, I let go of that. And that's what kind of keeps you curious and keeps you energetic and on that high vibration, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Okay, second question. What is one thing that you learned this week?
This week. I've learned so many things this week. I've learned to laugh.
Love
as
that.
Weird as that sounds. Like kind of like being an overachiever and being like the eldest girl in my family, and I've always been like over serious and like career driven, but I want to tap into like living, and I think laughing is part of that. And like just like embracing life for what it is.
Amazing. Okay, and then last question. Do you have a final message for anyone out there who is going through a similar situation that you were in, or is looking to start their own business, or is also feeling isolated, like all encompassing for everything that you shared?
You can create your own damn reality.
I love that.
No, honestly, you really can. It's a lot of work, and you can only do it if you want to, and if you really believe you want to. But your destination is real if you make it.
Yeah.
And you can create your own passion. Yeah, that's my message.
I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today. This was great.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of
it was
course.
Such a beautiful chat.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode. I hope that you got some learning and some growth out of it, and that you took away something valuable. I hope you have the most amazing rest of your day, coming from two people just like you.